In this video, we're going to consider splitting partially completed invoices. Now, the reason why you may want to do this, there's a couple of reasons. One would be that you have a very large job, you've completed some of the work on the job, and you want to recognize that part of the job on your books already. In doing that, you can actually split off the part that has been completed from the part that's been not completed, split it into two different invoices, and then it will do that. It'll post the completed part to your books, keep the other part open to keep working on it, and that's really what this feature is for, is to do that process automatically for you, so you don't have to retype everything back in to QFloors. Another application would be in a distribution business. Sometimes a distributor will have an invoice for a customer. They only ship part of the product that they have. They'll ship it out, and they want to bill for that portion of the product, so they will split it and then bill for just the part that's been delivered. So those are a couple of the applications of what we're talking about. To go ahead with this process, the first thing you're going to do is create a search list over here on the left hand side of the invoice screen. So all of the invoices in this list will be considered to be split. So if you limit the date range, only the invoices in that date range will be considered to be split. You can also do one invoice at a time. The way you do that is just bring up the invoice that you want to split right here. So you might have to type in an invoice number or search by name. Just bring it up here, and now this will be the only invoice that will be considered to be split. Okay. In order for an invoice to be split, there's a couple of rules. Number one, let's take a look at a couple of these. This invoice, for instance, has nothing checked on the job costing. All the boxes are blank. So this one would not be considered to be split because nothing has been delivered. Okay, some of the lines have to be delivered in order for this to happen. If we look at invoice number 18 here, you can see that invoice line number 1 has been delivered, and 2 and 3 are not. They're still open. And so this would be a candidate for an invoice to be split. One more example, number 14 here, you can see that it's still not a completed order, so it's open, and all of the lines have been, well, line number 2 has been delivered, but line number 1 is only partially delivered. We do not know how. QFloors is currently not smart enough to know what to do with these types of invoices where only part of a line is delivered. So we would not even consider this one for splitting because we don't know how to handle this case right here where one is checked and one is unchecked on the same line. They both would, in order for us to consider splitting this invoice, both of them would have to be unchecked. Okay, so those are a couple of the rules about splitting invoices and how we determine what we will split and what we won't split. So once you get your list here of what you want to consider, all you'll do is go up here to the edit field, go to split partially complete invoices. The date here will be the completion date that will be put into the next install field. Okay, so it will be the date that the completed invoice will hit the books. Cash and carry only is the default. That means that we will only search through invoices that have no labor on it. If you unclick this, then we will consider all invoices, both those with product only and those that include labor. So those are a couple of the parameters that you get to play around with. And when I click OK here, it lets me know that QFloors has found one invoice in the current list, which is this number 18 that we had clicked on before. Do you wish to continue splitting this invoice? And if I click on yes here, okay, you can see that it took invoice number 18 right here and completed that invoice. Okay, and just had that one line up here. Then it shows you that it moved these other invoice lines to line number, or to invoice number 28, which is this new invoice up here for Darth Vader. And you can see that it's created the new invoice without the first, without this first line right here. Okay, so now it's left this other part of the invoice to be completed at a later date. You'll also know that we're using the box up here at the top, which is the invoice PO box that's brand new also. We're using that to link these two invoices together. So, you know, if you wanted to see the invoices that have all been split from each other, you can do a search over here. One way is by going into the invoice PO, and you know, I think you would just put in right here invoice 18 like that, and it would bring up both of the invoices that have invoice 18, and these were the two that were split. Okay, that is how this feature works. Thank you.